Hi scholars! Today we're going to work on this objective. I can answer questions about a story by rereading and identifying key details. So we're going to work on two different skills today. The first skill is rereading. Second skill is identifying key details. To reread is to go back into the story and read it again. Identifying key details is to identify important parts of the story, so these can be words or sentences that help us to answer a question or just to understand the story better. Key details are sentences or words that help us to understand the story better or answer questions. To reread is to go back into the story and read it again. So we're going to use those two tools to go ahead and answer questions about the story. The story that we're going to read today is An American Hero. This story is based on Harriet Tubman. I'm going to go ahead and read the story, and then we're going to answer some questions to go along with it using the text in our two tools, rereading and identifying key details. An American Hero. What is a hero? Is it a firefighter, a football star, a singer? There are many kinds of heroes. Many slaves called Harriet Tubman a hero. She was a brave woman. Harriet Tubman's parents were slaves. Harriet was a slave too. Harriet wanted to be free. It was against the law for slaves to run away. But Harriet tried it anyway. She ran away to the north. Her trip was very dangerous. She had to walk through dark woods and swamps. Slave owners tried to catch her. She had to think quickly. She made it to Philadelphia, and she was free. Harriet wanted other slaves to be free too. She went back to the south. She helped others go north. She went back and forth 19 times. She led 300 slaves to freedom. Harriet took them on the Underground Railroad. The railroad was not under the ground. It was not even a railroad. It was a team of people who were willing to help the slaves. Harriet led the slaves from one safe place to another. When they reached the north, they were free. Harriet Tubman is a hero. She risked her life to help others. Remember her when you hear the word hero. So now we're going to go into the questions. Keep in mind our two skills, rereading and identifying key details. The first question. Harriet Tubman helped slaves escape from. So when we have a question that's based on a text, the first thing that I like to do is put that question in my head. So the question I know is Harriet Tubman helped slaves escape from where? A, the South, B, the North, C, the East, or D, the West. So I have my question in my head, and I also have the answers that I may be looking for. Now I'm going to go back into the text. I'm not going to read the entire text over again, but I'm going to try to find keywords that fit my question. So Harriet Tubman helped many slaves escape from. So I'm going to go to the part of the text that said, Harriet wanted other slaves to be free too, because I know that's going to talk to me about how she helped other slaves escape. So Harriet wanted other slaves to be free too. She went back to the south. She helped others go north. She went back and forth 19 times. She led 300 slaves to freedom. Stop. So our questions, go back to the question. Harriet Tubman helped many slaves escape from A, the South, B, the North, C, the East, or D, the West. So I heard when I reread my text, South and North. Let me go back into my text and see whether those help me answer my question. So she went back to the South, and she helped others go north. So she was helping the slaves to go north, but she had to go get them from the where? South. So our answer to that question would be A, the South. Harriet Tubman helped many slaves escape from the South. Okay? Next question. The Underground Railroad was a blank road, B, a railroad, C, a way to catch slaves, D, a way to help slaves escape. So, again, I'm not going to reread the entire story. I'm going to put this question in my head. The Underground Railroad was, and I'm going to go back in my text and identify words or sentences that help me to focus on answering this question about the Underground Railroad. So I'm going to be looking for the Underground Railroad in my text. So, Harriet took them on the Underground Railroad. The railroad was not under the ground. It was not even a railroad. It was a team of people who were willing to help the slaves. Harriet led the slaves from one safe place to another. When they reached the north, they were free. So I read specifically about the Underground Railroad. So I'm going to go back to my question now. My question says the Underground Railroad was a what? A road? And my text says it was not even a railroad. So I'm going to go ahead and it also said the railroad was not underground. So I'm going to know that a road and railroad are out because it wasn't a road that was under the ground and it wasn't a railroad. My next two options are a way to catch slaves and a way to help slaves escape. So let's go back again. The railroad was not under the ground. It was not even a railroad. It was a team of people who were willing to help the slaves. So another one was a way to catch slaves. They weren't trying to catch the slaves. They were trying to help the slaves get to freedom. So the sentence says it was a team of people who were willing to help the slaves. D, a way to help slaves escape. So in our text it says it was not even a railroad. It was a team of people who were willing to help the slaves. Harriet led the slaves from one safe place to another. When they reached the north, they were free. So, the Underground Railroad was a way to help slaves escape. Answer D. So, a quick recap. When answering questions based on the story, you're going to have to use two skills. Rereading, which is to go back into the text and read it again, and identifying key details. Identifying key details are words or sentences in a story that help you to understand the story better or to answer the question. So, the steps to using rereading and identifying key details to answer questions are to put the question in your head. Then you're going to go back into your story and find the key details. So you're going to look for different words that were in your question and try to find those words in the text. So for our second question, we used the Underground Railroad. And we went back into the text to see where we could find Underground Railroad and started reading from there. In the first question, Harriet Tubman helped many slaves escape from, we tried to see where we could find parts of the story that talked about helping slaves escape or wanting slaves to be free. So, you put the question in your head and go back into the text using words from the question to help you figure out where to find the answers in the text. Then, I like to help me, use a pencil, or in my case a marker, and I also underline the details that I find. So, the Underground Railroad was, I would underline Underground Railroad and everything attached to that. Okay? My underline. So that can help you with identifying key details in the story to help you understand and answer questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and make your way to Google Classroom to answer the rest of the questions from this story. A copy of this document will be uploaded for you so that you can go ahead and use the skill of rereading to answer the questions.